30-minute long video. Oh my god. Hold up. 30-minute video. Jesus Christ. The Hidden Tragedy of Smash's Greatest Rivalry by Seb and Nico. I'm assuming this is about Leo and Tweek. You know what the greatest tragedy is? That Leo is a good, honest gamer, and Tweek is a filthy counterpicker who hates playing losing matchups. That's the tragedy, is that Tweek is a scumbag.
Premier fighting game tournament. But yet, these two would come to be two of the greatest Smash Bros. Players of all time, and perhaps have a rivalry with the greatest legacy in modern Smash.
Honestly, they do have a lot of sets.
Have been locked in a close race for the #1 rank in the world for Smash 4's final season. And since this
I forgot about that. Their rivalry does go all the way back to Smash 4. I think that's magical.
The final tournament of
Leo
the
really
season,
trimmed out a lot over the years.
There's a real chance that whichever player wins this match secures rank 1 for the first time. Tweek had
Not Smash 4. Oh, this is ugly. They had the grossest counterpick war ever between these two, because Tweek wanted to always go DK versus Leo's Cloud, and then Cloud would he would just like counterpick something else, like Lucina or something. I don't know.
Tweek had started using the mid-tier primarily for Leo, and it had been working, leading to a 5-2 set lead in the rivalry so far. And this set was starting to seem like it was no exception. Tweek would take game 1 against Leo's Lucina rather convincingly,
Jump tilt,
and force him to seemingly pull out his last-ditch effort. Arguably the most broken character in Smash history, Bayonetta. But even with the best character in the game, Leo would fall in game 2.
Tweek was exceptionally good versus Bayonetta. I forgot about that.
And after getting hit by DK's signature combo twice
Bing
in
bong.
game 3, lose the first set. After already overcoming so much in his career, while fighting for something beyond himself, and finally coming so close to the #1 title, it was seemingly his American bracket demon that would put his story to an end.
I've always hated fighting Tweek. Dude's a knower of the game. Oh, Bayonetta counterpick working out? Who'd have thought?
With the flow of the match entirely flipping, Tweek would ditch his mid-tier to also switch to Bayonetta.
Dude, okay, like, this is so soured by the fact that, like, it's such a cool rivalry, and then it's just like, alright, fuck it, Bayonetta dittos.
A character he was much more experienced with than Leo, and it showed, closing out a 2-stock in game 3. Going into game 4, with momentum turning out of his favor, Leo would bring out his third character of the set,
Cloud?
Marth,
okay.
Despite the character not...
Dude, this is prime scam o'clock if you're Bayonetta. He's dead. Oh. In Ultimate, he was dead. I didn't know up killed.
Leo would be able to win the tournament, and largely due to this win, secure the #1 title for the first time in his career. Although extremely pivotal at the moment, would pale in comparison to the sheer scale and stakes of some of their future
Not him
matches.
going white DK again. These guys hate each other.
Depressed by the opportunity that seemingly fell out of his grasp. Coming out of this time, and segueing into the beginning of Smash Ultimate, the goal was clear. After coming so close to what he had played his whole life for, Tweek was determined
Tweek was
to
never
become the
number
first
one, right?
#1 Smash
In
Ultimate player in the world. The new game brought a whole new wave of players to fight for that one spot. Old veterans came back, and players from numerous different fighting games took their chance at the competitive scene. Near the end of Smash 4, tournament attendance waned, and many competitors retired. But this first year of Ultimate seemingly was going to be the highest level of competition ever.
Dude, the influx of new players was so lit.
Made the #1 rank.
Did you know that the average Mars sub is actually considered to be a genius? Could be you. Could be you.
Where he would come to win without dropping a single set. Although it's important to mention that a key rival wasn't present.
Holy top 8. Who are these guys?
The first tournament both would attend would be Glitch 6, a 500 entrant tournament in Maryland. And
I didn't know he played Cloud that early into Ultimate's meta. What the hell?
They were one match away from having their long-awaited first set in Ultimate. Tweek would win his set, but Leo would fall to top Fox player Light, and after making it to loser semifinals, failed to advance to Tweek, who would go on to win the tournament. Tweek's goal wasn't necessarily to beat Leo, it was to be the #1 player in the world, regardless.
Because rivalries are petty. Started going to the local tourneys, made me realize how ass I am and how goated pro players are. Yeah, there's a very clear gap.
As going into the first S-rank tournament of the season, Genesis 6, the two were seeded #1 and 2, with this tournament shaping to be the catalyst for one of the two to take a definitive lead. However, the top-seeded player would have an early obstacle in his path.
Eric Samuel. Eric Samus. Pikachu broken. Look at this shit. Year 1 tech. Year 1 combo is still relevant today. Character was solved so early.
Oh no. Percent. Some off stage. Has to use the bike. He's chasing him. That's gonna be it. That is gonna be it. And Esam takes win.
Going into losers early, Tweek wouldn't let his reputation of being the best player in the world fall away so easily, making it all the way to losers
3-0 shoot on. Oh my god.
to Dabuz in a 3-0. And as if placing beneath his seed didn't hurt enough, Leo would make his own impressive run through losers bracket to win the tournament.
This just goes to show how important bracket luck is, and people don't talk about it.
At Frostbite 2019, Smash Ultimate's second S-tier tournament, the two would meet in winners finals. So far, the two were the only players with multiple major wins under their belt. And despite Leo's recent big win at Genesis, this match served as the potential way for Tweek to catch back up in the narrative. Their match would start out reminiscent to their Smash 4 matches, in that once again, Tweek would attempt to surprise Leo with Donkey Kong, while Leo would stick with Ike, the character with straightforward
It's like the two simplest characters that were like viable at the time. It's still very funny. Paulu's also up there.
As the first game came to a close, Leo proved that the mind games of old wouldn't work anymore, capping it off with
Ding-donging people at 40 is old news. That's why DK didn't work.
Tweek would switch to his new main for Smash Ultimate,
Wario.
Some compare Wario to Melee Jigglypuff, in that both players tend to rely on combos into their win condition. For Jigglypuff,
That's insane. Calling Wario Melee Jigglypuff is an insanely dishonest comparison. Holy shit. Garbage. You
after missing
garbage.
his key win condition, Tweek would go down 2-0. So he decided to stick with his gut going into Game 3.
Ew. Ooh. Wait, he's owning him.
Tweek managed to completely turn the tides, closing out the game in a 2-stock, and choose one of his old reliable characters from Smash
Lucina?
4, Lucina. This would allow him to diversify his game plan.
I think it's
and potentially
hilarious that Leo is just like, yeah, I got bored of playing Lucina, so I stopped playing her. Very based.
that his multi-game experience with the character make the difference in this key point of the set. Whoever took this game would officially take the first lead in the rivalry. Leo would use his spacing fundamentals that were second to none to take the early lead in the game, while Tweek would poke at Leo's defense in order to hit any deadly combos.
Ooh.
Okay, he's back in the center again. That's a punish for sure. Down throw.
Risky with that.
Roll it.
Watch the roll. Yep,
Keep
he's rolling again. You see it too.
Ugh. Dude, he's just on top of him. Dude, early Ultimate was so aggressive.
Tweek was ecstatic to complete the reverse 3-0 in order to take the first lead in the rivalry, and put himself in grand finals, set to even up the count of S-tier tournaments won between the two. That to make this a reality, he would have to slay the Titan again.
I think this is where I
It was
won
clear
doubles
to
with
everyone
Tweek.
now
Was
that
this
these
tournament.
two players, but Tweek was looking to remind him of how their last set just ended.
Down tilt dash tag. The carry.
He needs to take advantage of this.
He actually has a chance now.
Ooh. Hey, Leo needs to knock him off the stage. Oh no. Oh,
Ooh,
no.
the weight on the tech.
Tweek
Absolutely
would win
thugged
his
on.
6th game in a row against Leo to officially sweep him out of the tournament and to tie themselves up in the amount of S-rank tournaments won. Leo took the loss with grace, but the pain of defeat didn't elude him. Losing the tournament didn't only hurt his own personal claim to the #1 title, it also meant
It also hurt his feelings. He cried for days straight.
$2,500 less of a prize payout than Tweek. Why this is important is that Leo would often spend a large amount of his prize money and salary to support his family back in Nalcapan, Mexico, who took on the risk of him becoming a full-time traveling Smash player. The difference between getting first or second place at a tournament often meant being able to double or triple his family income or not.
Bro, he had sponsor money. He was not worried about that shit at all.
Losing the title for the new, more popular Smash game was something that Leo feared. Leo wouldn't go down without a fight, winning Smash's most prestigious invitational tournament weeks later. But afterwards, his results would start to slip. But with the game's meta evolving, many of his key characters were starting to be left behind. However, that would end up
DLC
being
Pack
his
1,
saving
baby! Leo gets to be relevant again. Leo was so good in 2019 because he was fighting for his family.
And going into the season's next S-tier tournament, MomoCon 2019, He was tearing
Holy dude, this dude's getting embarrassed.
through the bracket, with none of his sets even being close until top 8. But he would show why he was truly in contention for Smash's top spot.
Wait, I thought I won this set!
And in winners finals, he would be granted the opportunity to face the only, for the first time in 3 months, the two would cross paths. As well, this would be the first time Leo would use his Joker against him. Tweek's game plan as Wario wouldn't differ too much than in their previous matches, as he would have to rely on his high
I guess this is his first time
combos
playing Joker against him, yeah.
and win condition, Waft, in order to have the advantage. But Joker was a whole different beast, with access to multiple projectiles and his own intimidating win condition, Arsene, which made each of his moves up to twice as strong while his meter was active.
So he DLC'd him. So that's what ruined the rivalry.
To say the least, with one of his key combos, Leo was able to close out the match and reach grand finals. But once again, as fate would have it, the two would battle for the lead of S tier wins. Hot
Did I go Ike versus this Roy? Hilarious.
off of his prior set win, Tweek would start out the match with Roy, a sword fighter known for his great speed and ability to kill very early. Ironically enough, Leo would be the one killing early, closing out a 3-stock in game 1. Consequentially, Tweek would switch back to Wario and close out a close game in order to finally even things up.
This makes me pumped for the next Smash game, dude, I'm not gonna lie.
Coming soon.
Oh, wow, really soon. Okay.
Although Tweek was
Trash, he
able
didn't even
to
hit the
get
drag down.
close, Leo's Joker was a step above his other characters he had fought. Top Smash Bros. Melee player
Oh, I forgot
and
about
the
this
97th seed of the whole tournament, Wizrobe, would manage to perform the statistically greatest upset in Smash Ultimate up to this point. Shaken, Tweek would also lose his next set in loser's bracket to get eliminated in 33rd place. Having shifted between a multitude of characters within the past month and experiencing his worst performance in the new game, things were now looking grim.
And Leo, all right. I think it's safe to call this basically the tournament. Oh no,
my God.
no! You can't do that. You can't.
If he got beat immediately, he would have lived.
Leo, even there in the depths of the black
I
zone on the
cannot-
right-hand side.
Statistically greatest
Even
upset is a
though his
killer
skill was
title to
greater
hold.
than nearly
Nah, that's kind of
everyone
lame.
else in the world, with his failure to reach the #1 title for the first half of 2019, there came a lot of feelings, such as shame and disappointment.
People don't really talk about how toxic people are to top players when they perform poorly. It's rough stuff, man, if you don't got the mental for it.
We're happy to welcome Super Smash Bros. Ultimate to EVO 2019.
The world's most prestigious fighting game tournament, EVO, had announced that Smash Ultimate would be part of its lineup for 2019, with the top 8 matches taking place in the Mandalay Bay Events Center. EVO is essentially the closest thing to the
Especially
Super
when
Bowl
people are
fighting
talking
games,
#1 versus
where the
anything
winner of
else.
the tournament
True.
can lay a serious claim.
Yeah,
to
Evo's a very
easily
important
to
tournament. We get it.
Crusade.
Damn, I did that perfectly, and I still got upbeat. Character's broken.
This character was the most effective at displaying his skill and the hardest to shut out, which is exactly what he was looking for. EVO 2019 would be like no other tournament in history. Tweek would hardly drop a game throughout the entire pool section of the bracket. And
PT is
besides
so broken, dude. I'm so glad they nerfed this shit.
one close match in top 32.
Yeah, now there's no
against Proto
PTs.
Banham, Tweek would have a dominant run all the way to winners finals, where he would be seeded to finally have his next rematch against Leo. But this EVO would be full of surprises. Would be against top Japanese player Kameme. Kameme was revered with
Yeah, he loses to the Mega Man. It's one of those things you don't know it's a tough matchup until you play it.
and being met by arguably the best player from Japan, the young prodigy Zachary. But once again,
Throwing out these back airs
He's
right
him.
above, and I think MkLeo might be
This is where
the
Proto top in it too.
inevitability
It's like when I
to
first
look
heard of
out
Proto.
for. He is
up in winner's side of bracket, instead of facing MkLeo in winners finals as seeded, Tweek would face the best
Beardless
player in
Gluto.
Europe, Glutony, who had
Weak
won
variant.
every tournament.
Okay, the bike finally knocking Tweek out of his momentum, but he's not done. He has the opportunity, but he misses the up air. And another chance, but he switches one.
But ironically
Spot dodge.
enough,
We'll have to make a
a
laugh.
familiar move would turn the tides. And when the game went to last stock, that goal was within arm's reach.
Okay, falling to the platform with that up air follow up of the down air. Can he catch him? But no.
No,
Look
what?
when he's on it.
He didn't have watts. He might have had half watts, but it wouldn't be enough. Gets the back air. He's going to try to start the race relief. It knocks him off the bike, but it's not
Forward
enough.
smack
He
covers
wins
everything.
the
You
moment,
lose.
and Tweek is going to grand
Tweek proved that he deserved the spot in grand finals. Everything seemed like it was finally coming together. and he seemed like he was ready for anything. Leo would defeat another top Japanese player, Raito, in dominant fashion.
Wait,
and
Raito
make
got
his
top
way to
8?
top 4, where there would be only 2 more top
How did that
players
happen?
that could.
What happened to the audio? Just got crustified.
After making their rivalry had defined Smash Ultimate up to this point.
He
with
upset
either
Meister
player
and
having
Abuzz,
the upper hand of the
and then Bro
rivalry
just
at
retired.
different times. They would have to end the others.
So what's the
From
hidden
both players'
tragedy?
perspectives, they weren't only playing one matchup,
Clickbait
but rather
me, dude.
3. Generally, Squirtle was the character Tweek would use early in stocks due to his great combos, but due to his lack of strong kill confirms, as stocks would play on, he would often switch to Ivysaur or Charizard, who had a multitude of ways to end stocks. But rather than relying on the strength boost of Arsene, Leo would show that his Joker was always a character to be afraid of.
We're looping!
Ow! I'll be back up!
Not like that.
Even though Leo had been hot from his earlier losers,
Yeah, I don't know
run,
what happened to the audio.
Tweek was putting out
I don't
his
think
flames.
it's... I can refresh it or something. Someone said it's a YouTube thing, but I think it's when it got uploaded or something. Dude,
Spurting
there was like
stocks
one
and
clip that
strong read.
Tweek almost had to win Evo, and then like it would have won him the entire Evo. It would have been a nasty clip, and then it just didn't go through.
A common talking
Tragic
point
way
in
to
the
lose.
community, Up 2-0 in Winterside Grand Finals, Tweek was one game away from taking
Oh,
the
we're
lead
back.
in the rivalry and cementing himself as the new #1 player with a dominant Evo victory. Few have ever been in the situation Tweek was in at this moment, so his exact feelings are likely something only he truly knows. But it's likely that there was a unique pressure in this situation, and it meant
There really is no pressure in those situations. When you're so locked in that the weight of the match doesn't matter and it's just you playing well, there really is no like, oh, I better win so I can win Evo. Ooh, the stress is piling up. That just doesn't happen. Like a lot of people think it does, but it don't. You kind of
victory,
forget how hard Tweek
but
was farming
also
this set. Yeah,
a
dude, he was
nerve-wracking
hard.
thought. But most of them would miss and cause Leo's lead to further grow. Tweek was able to bring back the game to last stock,
Yeah, I think this right here.
but Leo managed to close out the game with his
Nope, never
signature
mind.
combo. For Leo, the thought of having to win 3 games in a row, as well as another set, seemed so out of the realm of possibility that he almost felt as if the burden of losing wasn't on him. Now,
Yeah, he's owning.
once again, Tweek was 1 stock away from winning
Don't
Evo.
get reverse 3 stocks.
This time around, it wasn't an even stock count. He was up 3 stocks to 1. With the odds greatly in his favor, all he had to do was close it out, and not give that little voice in the back of his head any fuel.
Who's he up airing?
Jumping to center stage.
Right, and look at Leo coming alive right now. 74% and poor little Squirtle cannot hit.
2 back airs.
Calling out the Pokemon switch. Charizard is reeling. He wants to switch to Squirtle, but he's going to take even more damage.
Dude, he's just getting red
Squirtle
over and
not
over.
going down without a fight.
Even putting. Here's a grab.
Oh no, this is so scary. He wanted to catch me. What is like?
So scammed. So
One hit
scammed.
away from closing the door on MkLeo's miraculous comeback, Tweek just had to find his opening.
Fire breath?
And that moment supposedly came. As Leo slowly walked towards his shield, if Tweek released an up smash,
Thugged on him, dude.
he would be the Evo champion. Except, he couldn't bring himself to take the risk. And Leo knew it.
Bink. Pop.
In Game 5, Tweek was still just 1 game away from winning the tournament. But after blowing a 3-1 stock lead, he felt as if there was much less leeway. And in his mind, the pressure only kept rising.
Still alt's best set.
Just
Low
games
key.
earlier,
Yeah.
Tweek had been going even with Leo, unable to get any reads to close out stocks, while losing his quickly. Leo would take a 3-1 stock lead. Objectively, Tweek winning here was as possible as Leo's victory in the prior game, but due to the momentum spiraling out of his favor, it felt impossible. The final best of 5 set for Evo started out the exact opposite way as the prior, with Leo now taking charge. However, Tweek didn't want to let the momentum snowball out of his
What a
favor.
beautiful set, dude.
So despite a tough game 1, he would bring the game within reach.
Oh, low. Can he catch him with the back air?
Oh no,
But can he
oh
make
no,
it
he's
back?
so low. He tried
In Game 2,
He tried to
Tweek
scam.
would show flashes of dominance, but repeatedly make errors that would be read by Leo.
Oh
Game 3 would be on the same stage as Leo's incredible comeback from the prior set. And maybe, that's what Tweek needed to start his own.
They cannot kill this man.
no. Just so tricky. Uses the movement, just closing all the windows, shuttering the doors.
It's like every
But
time
Tweek
Leo dies
right
because he
up
fucking
the
spot
source of
dodges.
light.
Over 130%, he had to pull off a miracle in order to make up the deficit. He climbed up even further into percent, and for once, Leo seemed like the player unable to close it out. Tweek knew it. He had to go for one hard read to kickstart his comeback, and make him believe that he could still be the EVO champion.
Waiting for the third jab. So smart. He's going to try to go low. Can he spike it? He mistimes it. MkLeo defeats Tweek to be your 2019 spike it. Waiting for the third
He
jab.
stressed
So
himself
smart.
out, yeah. Honestly, he psyched himself out. He must have, like, I feel like you're supposed to be able to do a double jump back to stage here. Did he go?
Gonna try to go low.
I think if he insta jumped down here, he
Can he
wouldn't have
spike
fell
it?
off the stage there.
It is said that Leo didn't have some grand pop-off after winning because he thought of what it would have been like to lose in the way that Tweek did. Leo, although ecstatic at the manner of his win, and at the fact that his dreams had just come true, took the win with class. Tweek was clearly disappointed with
So what's
his
the
loss,
disaster?
as this tournament would come to be the closest Tweek would ever be to the #1 rank. As well, the following year, it was announced that Nintendo had asked for Smash to no longer be featured at EVO,
Damn.
due to Sony's involvement with the tournament. Leo remains as the only Smash Ultimate EVO champion. Leo and Tweek's rivalry in Ultimate would span for 6 more years, with both players taking a
So it's a
handful of
tragedy that there's no
prestigious
more
tournament
EVOs?
wins over the other. But to many, none of those compare to their battle at EVO, and a period of dominance which had given him the title of the greatest Ultimate player of all time in many people's eyes, and most importantly, give him the level of success to move his family to a safer part of Mexico. These two players both had their own wild dreams for how their careers would play out, but ultimately, only one of them.
Think Tweek secretly hates Leo for this? No, there's like an interview somewhere out there where Tweek is literally like if you're retired, I don't even know why I would play. He fucking loves Leo and he loves playing against him, and they kind of inspire each other to get better. I think that's cool.
That in every dream-esque win, there's a dream-crushing defeat on the other side. But maybe, dreams wouldn't be possible in the first place without the chance of them never coming true.
So I guess the hidden tragedy that there is no more EVO. Well, honestly, I agree. I think Smash at EVO would be sick, but Nintendo don't want that. So womp womp. It is what it is. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.